back to English for You video series, and in today's class I'm back with a different program, and I'm planning to come up with a few videos in which we would discuss some important chapters from CBSE class 10 English syllabus, because just on account of this corona scare and everything, the schools could not run properly, and there are many children who were devoid of attending the chapters properly, listening to the teachers and their explanations upon those particular chapters. So I thought how they could be helped, and I thought I should talk about the chapters in three portions. In the first portion, I should discuss the story or the poem, that is the main content. In the next part, I would discuss the writer or the poet and the characters involved, the themes involved, and if there is time or might be in the next portion, I would discuss the important questions and how the answers should be written so that they can fetch us the best of the marks in the board exams. So let us start today with one very important story from class 10 syllabus that you must be familiar with. And the title of the story is The 100 Dresses. The 100 Dresses. Okay, and this was written by Eleanor Estes. This is the name of the writer. And we would discuss about the writer and her contributions to literature and the features of her writing, everything in the next video. But in this video, we would focus mostly upon the story. So when we talk about the story, The 100 Dresses, it opens on a beautiful Monday morning. Monday morning is the time when the story opens. And Wanda Petronsky, who is Wanda Petronsky? This is a Polish girl, Wanda Petronsky. I think you should be should know about some background of this Polish immigration to America. The Polish people, especially the intellectuals, the poets, the writers, the philosophers, they started coming to United States in the early 17th century, but the largest of the migration, the influx of the Polish immigrants that came to America was in 20th century, early 20th century. They came in a very big number, that was about more than 1 million, you can say. And the biggest of the chunk of the population, they settled in Chicago or around, because Chicago has the largest population after Warsaw, the Polish capital. And they were from different countries, like they were Australian Polish people, they were from Canada, they were from, you can say, Germany also. So several countries they came from. And largest influx of Polish immigrants was there in the 20th century, in the first of 20th century. And most of the people that came in the first part of the 20th century, they were poor people. Okay, and they formed the part of the labor force in America. So the lead character of our story is Wanda Petronsky. It's a long name, isn't it? It sounds a bit bizarre when we pronounce it and when we hear it also. Because mostly and especially the American students coming from that particular society, they are used to hearing the Anglophone names, which are very simple to hear and all. But this is Wanda Petronsky, and there are two more characters which you will find being mentioned again and again in the story. One is Pegy, that is the leader of the class, you can say, and another one is her friend Mattie. So basically these three characters are involved in the story, and there are some other side characters, you can say, less important characters, you can say. So the story, as I told you, opens on a Monday morning. Wanda hasn't come to the class, but her absence is not marked. Mondays passes by, Tuesday comes and passes by. Wanda is still not present in room number 13. And why her absence is not marked? Because she is a shy girl, very shy, introvert, okay, that is introvert, okay, and on top she is a Polish immigrant, okay, okay. So these three things about Wanda. When you are shy, you don't mix up with people easily. And when you are introvert, you keep only yourself only to yourself. And she is a Polish immigrant. She is poor, pretty poor, quite poor, okay, badly poor. And she doesn't have any friend in this school. That's why her absence is not marked. But there is one reason that makes the girls like Pegy and Maddie mark her presence in the school, and that is just because one statement that she gave to them one day. I'll mention that statement and the whole situation later. So it's Wednesday morning now, and Pegy and Maddie both are waiting outside the school premises to the spot where Wanda came, okay, from Boggles Heights. The place is called Boggles Heights. Boggles Heights, where Wanda Petronsky lives. And this is a slum area, impoverished area, where very poor people live. That is on the outskirts of Connecticut. What is Connecticut? Connecticut is a state in the United States of America. On the southern coast, you can say it has some coastal cities, and it is dotted with some rural settings, rural towns, small towns. In one of those rural settings, on the outskirts of Connecticut, all this action is happening, which we find in the story. So it's Wednesday morning, and Pegy and Maddie, two of our dear girls, they are waiting outside the school premises for Wanda Petronsky, so that when she comes, they can have some fun. Okay, and every day, Pegy, along with Maddie and some of their friends, they stand over there and they make fun of Wanda Petronsky. Okay, that's the kind of bullying you will see it later in the story. And that day they get late, okay, in entering the class. Why? Because they kept waiting for Wanda, but she didn't come. And it was by the time they entered the class, the Gettysburg Speech, which was being read and which was read every morning in the room number 13, was almost being finished. And this is the irony of the situation. You must be knowing about Gettysburg Speech. Gettysburg Speech. It is a very famous speech given by a very famous person, which is Abraham Lincoln. It was given in 1863. It was given in 1863 and touches upon the American ideal of equality that is also found in American Constitution, that all men are equal and all that. So the Gettysburg Speech is almost being finished in the class by the time they enter. And why they got late? Because they had kept waiting for Wanda, which didn't come. Okay, so they entered the class and they noticed that Wanda was missing and she was not coming. Okay, and why she was targeted? The three reasons I told you. She was shy, she was introvert, Polish immigrant, she didn't have that Anglophone name. And American students, they have got very small names, very informal ones, very easy to pronounce and receive here, like Kathy, Bertie, Betty, and all those small names you can have. But the Polish immigrants, it's their culture, the way they are. They have long names. We find the same thing in India also. Don't you see that in South India, people take their father's name, their grandfather's name, attaches to their names, and so their names become very long. Our ex-Prime Minister, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, is Pamulpati Venkat Narasimha Rao. Now there was our great APJ Abdul Kalam, so Abul Pakir Jainul Abdin Abdul Kalam. So Abul Pakir was his grandfather, Jainul Abdin was his father, and his own name was Abdul Kalam. We have our own great Sachin Tendulkar. We call him Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. So Ramesh Tendulkar was his father and his own name is Sachin. So there are some traditions or customs where people have long names. So that is with these Polish immigrants also. Because Americans find it quite bizarre, abnormal you can say. They are not used to hearing such long names. That's why these people, these Polish immigrants and these students, they stand out in the crowd, and that's why they become the target, easy target of the class. And Wanda has a long Polish name, Wanda Petronsky. Okay, and she is shy, introvert, and on top, poor. When you are poor, you don't have any stand. You don't stand anywhere. People don't value you, they don't listen to you, they don't give your words any weight. And you easily offend them with your words if you say something of importance. That happens with Wanda. So Maddie is remembering the day when all this, the 100 dresses game began. So let me clean the board. I will talk about this. Maddie is just trying to recall how this 100 dresses game began. And that was a bright October morning. What morning? Bright October morning. And there was a girl named Cecil. And that girl was showing the girls, the other girls of her class, the other students, her new red dress, which was very beautiful. The girls assembled around her, stood around her. They were admiring the dress. Just then, Wanda came to them. She was coming from Boggles Heights with her younger brother Jacob. Jacob used to do some odd jobs in the school. So leaving Wanda there, he just moved ahead. And almost involuntarily, she blurted out. She said that she also has 100 dresses, beautiful 100 dresses all lined up in her cupboard. And that was really a shocking statement, because there are people who hardly people who have 100 dresses all lined up in their cupboard. And then there is a girl whose name is Pegy, as I've already mentioned. She is the leader of the class. She comes from a very rich family. She takes it as an offense that how this poor girl dares to utter this, that she has 100 dresses, exquisite 100 dresses. And she knows that she is telling a lie, because the girl Wanda, she comes to school in one single faded blue dress. Every day she comes in the same dress. It means she doesn't have other dresses. And the dress she comes in is not properly pressed even, not well ironed. And it's not only poorly ironed, poorly pressed, but it also is ill-fitting. So that's why Pegy takes it as an offense, and she just thinks that now Wanda should be taught a lesson. And that day onwards, the girls with their friends start making fun of Wanda Petronsky just because she uttered that, she delivered that statement that she had 100 dresses all lined up. So next day onwards, Pegy, Maddie though is not making these statements, but she is standing by. So Pegy, Maddie and some other friends, they assemble around Wanda. And they ask her in a very polite and formal way, like they are talking to the class teacher, Miss Mason. Wanda, what did you say? How many dresses you had? And she said, 100 and all lined up. Then someday they would ask, I bet they are all silk. And she said, yes, they are silk and they are all lined up. Some other day would ask her, how many shoes you have? And she said, 60. It was shocking for them, but she stood by whatever she said. Some other day they asked, oh, how many hats you have? And she said, 70. Just mark it out. Wanda Petronsky, though she is poor, she is being bullied by the girls, but she is not weak. She doesn't surrender. To the last, she keeps defending her statements that she has those 100 dresses, those 60 shoes, those 70 hats and all that. So Wanda is a courageous girl who stands up to all those bullies, those belligerent girls who try to bring her down. Okay, now I'm coming to another day. It's raining, it's pouring, it's raining cats and dogs. And Pegy and Maddie both are coming to school. And Maddie is under Peggy's umbrella. They're coming under the same umbrella. They reach the school. and they hurry to the class because it is the day when the result of the drawing competition that was held in the school is to be announced by the class teacher, Miss Mason. The girls had to draw paintings upon the dress designs. Dress design was the theme for them, and for the boys was the motorboats. So when the results are, and when they enter the class, they are shocked to see, they are really taken aback to see there are 100 exquisite dress designs, all fantastic, pinned in different parts of the class against the wall. And they find that everybody is having a look at them. The class teacher comes and she announces the result for the boys and for the girls. Pegy is just thinking, because she is a very good painter, what the class thinks, and she is intelligent. She is a very good. She is very good artist, because she is capable of drawing the Hollywood artists, actresses and actresses in such a way that you can recognize them. So the class thinks, she herself thinks that she was going to be the winner. And she is supported by Maddie also in this view. But when Miss Mason announces the result, it's not Pegy, it's none else but Wanda Petronsky. The class teacher says that even one of these paintings, okay, which are pinned all over the walls in the class, if any one of them are capable enough to win Wanda the first prize in the competition, but all 100 are fantastic, exquisitely drawn, all are fantastic designs. And now this is the time to be shocked for Maddie and Pegy, especially Pegy, and she says that she thought she could draw. Okay, and then the whole class is compelled to reconsider their impression about Wanda. Just then a letter arrives from the principal's office, and Miss Mason, the class teacher, reads the letter out to the class. And this letter is from Wanda's father, who had expressed his disappointment with the kind of behavior meted out to his daughter Wanda Petronsky, that she was targeted on the basis of the her ethnic background, ethnic differences. Mrs. Mason is not happy to read the letter, though she is not angry because she thinks it might not be intentional. But she just tries to convey to the girls that this sort of behavior was not worth appreciating and it should not be practiced. And the bleak mood follows. Even the boys who did not take interest in dresses and all, they are just moving about the class, going to each dress design there is, and they are appreciating it, whistling and doing everything that they can do to appreciate. So from that day on, the opinion of the class, especially even Peggy's opinion, Maddie's opinion, the changes about Wanda Petronsky. Okay, it's Wanda which has marked her presence in a very strong way through her work, through her exquisite paintings. But the bleak mood follows because they realized they had really done wrong, and that's why Wanda's father had written in his letter that he is moving with his children to a big city where he hopes that no such discrimination will be meted out to them on this ground of ethnic differences and all. And now Maddie is very sorry because she was never involved in taunting Wanda Petronsky. It was Pegy who did it. And once Maddie tried to send her a note also to stop with this practice. But there were certain things which stopped her. Pegy was very rich. She was very intelligent. She had a great fan following in the class. And when Maddie tried to choose between Wanda Petronsky, who was almost non-existent in the class because of her background, because of her poverty, because of her long name and all that. And on the other side, there was Pegy, who was very intelligent and rich and had great standing in the class. She found it better to choose Pegy And second thing was that she was scared that if she sent that note to Pegy, Pegy would be angry and she would be targeting her too. Because Maddie knew that she was also poor, though not so poor as Wanda, but she was also poor. And she also used to wear those hand-me-down dresses. It means those second-hand dresses that come from people, and he used them. It was Maddie's mother who was intelligent enough to change the designs of those dresses a bit with the trimmings and all so that they could not be identified. But still there was the danger involved. So Maddie decides not to send that note. She tears it up and throws it away. But now Maddie is very sorry. And she somehow, and Pegy too is realizing that it was wrong to bully somebody on the basis of their drawbacks, something they said, or their background, or their poverty, or something in the state they are in. So Maddie convinces Pegy. Maddie convinces Pegy that they should go to Wanda's home place and they should say sorry to her. They should apologize for her behavior. And they go to the Boggles Heights, but to their utter dismay, they find that nobody lives now over there. They find the whole place empty. They come back. And Maddie writes a letter in the hope that someday she would be make up for her behavior to Wanda. And she writes a letter just promising and just saying sorry for all that happened to her, apologizing for their behavior and promising that would never happen in future and requesting that she should come back and join this school. The letter is addressed to the old address with the request that it should be forwarded to where the Petronsky family lives now. And then the wait begins. And to just find herself comfortable or being able to sleep properly at night, Maddie is she is very remorseful. Now all the time she keeps visualizing and dreaming that how she's defending some girl against the bullies and how she's making speeches against such ragging and such bullying or such behavior pattern, you can say. And what is ironical is Pegy herself is not a bad girl. She herself had saved many small girls from bullies, and she cannot see even a small animal in pain. But what caused her behave in such a way to Wanda Petronsky? She was somewhere offended, and she thought that despite being poor, despite coming to school that one single dress, faded blue dress, which was ill-fitting, which was not well pressed, how dare she make such a statement? That's why even while behaving in that way to Wanda, Pegy never thought that she was committing anything wrong. And that's why, but now this time she is sorry too. She realizes her mistake, that she should not have behaved in that way to Wanda Petronsky. And the wait begins. Maddie is remorseful, doing all those things to relieve herself, to console herself. Then it's the last day before the school is going to be closed for Christmas holidays, Christmas vacation. A letter comes from Wanda Petronsky to school, to principal's office. From there it comes to the class teacher, and the class teacher, Miss Mason, reads it to the class. In that letter, Wanda had desired to gift all those dress designs to the girls in the class. And there were two exquisite dress designs she had decided to gift to Wanda Petronsky. To Pegy and to Maddie. So now Maggie and Pegy both realize that how great, how good Wanda Petronsky was, and how she loved them and how she had forgiven them. And that's very relieving for both. So both come home with the dress designs that were gifted to them. And Maddie especially hangs that or pins that dress design on the patch of a torn wallpaper. And when she's looking intently at the dress design or the picture, she finds to her utter surprise that the girl who is shown to be wearing the dress in the picture is none other than Pegy. It was her own portrait. It was Maddie's portrait. Maddie is so excited to discover this, that the girl who was wearing that dress was none other than Maddie. It was her own portrait. She just in excitement runs back to Pegy and just tells everything to her. Then Pegy also has a very intent look at the dress design that was gifted to her. And she also finds that the girl in that dress who is wearing that dress that was given to Pegy is none other than Pegy. It was Pegy's portrait. Both the girls, they realized that Wanda really admired them. She loved them. And she might have wanted to be friends with them, be a friend with them. Okay, but it was their behavior which kept her away from all that. And they are really ashamed of their behavior. And the story ends over there. And we find towards the end of the story, Maddie is standing and with teary eyes, being quite emotional. With teary eyes, she is remembering how Wanda Petronsky used to stand against that ivy-colored wall and face all that came from those bullies. So with that, the story ends. In the next video, we would talk about the writer with the themes involved. We would also talk about the main characters, their drawbacks, their merits and demerits, everything. And we would also discuss the questions that follow, the important questions, and how we should try to write the answers and what are the important points that should be discussed in those answers. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please wait for the next one. If you like this, do like the video and do subscribe the channel also so that you can get all the videos that come in this series. Thank you very much. Nice being with you.